All right.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Angie's World podcast. Thank you so much for being here and listening. I have a special guest today. Gully TV is in the building.
What up? What's good, Angie? How you doing?
What's up? Listen, y'all, for y'all who, you know what? I hear a little feedback. Just mute your mic for 1 second, Gully. All right, bet. Because I want to give you a perfect introduction. Ladies, I know all the fellas that's listening to this pod right now or watching this on YouTube. I know y'all know who Gully TV is already, but ladies, if y'all don't know who he is, he's I definitely hear the feedback.
Hold on.
All right. I think you might need to mute. You see the little mute button? All right, perfect. There we go. The feedback's
Good.
you gotta mute. You know how to mute? There should be like a little button somewhere where you could hit mute. Should be like
I gotta get my dribble right.
it's okay. You know what? This is real life. This is fine. This
Okay,
is
let's
fine.
get it. Let's get it in.
All right. If you put your mouse, you'll see like the mute button. All right, cool. So let me see. I might be able to mute you. Hold on. Give me one moment. All right, I got him muted. All right, there we go. So now the feedback is gone. All right, perfect. So I know the men that are watching this podcast, y'all already know who Gully TV is. But ladies, Gully TV is a journalist. All right, he's an author. He's a YouTube content creator. He's a digital YouTube content creator. He's a fashion enthusiast, and he's a basketball enthusiast and hip hop enthusiast. So he does all of those different things. Gully, you gotta unmute yourself because I don't think I can unmute you. Oh no, I can. There we go.
All right. We good?
Yeah, we all good. So, like I said, Gully, I really, really appreciate you being here, and coming on a smaller content creators channel, and blessed be with your presence. I really, really appreciate you.
Right. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. You said that the guys know who I am, and you was introducing me to the ladies. The ladies know who the dribble is too, man. Don't get it fucked up. Don't get it fucked up. Straight up. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, man. What's going on?
Nothing, man. I'm so happy that you're here. And I want to tell a little story. I'm gonna tell the audience a little story, how because y'all probably thinking, how the hell is Angie and Gully on the same podcast? What the heck do these two have in common? How did they link up? So we have more in common than y'all think. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you again, Gully, because I do hear a little feedback. We got a little bit more in common than y'all think. So how I met Gully, I met him online, right? Well, I didn't meet him online. I heard about him online because one day I was on the internet and there was a story that resurfaced after like 20 something years. You understand what I'm saying? And there was a DJ from High 97 by the name of Patty Duke. I guess he was involved in some sort of murder investigation, allegedly murder case 20 something years ago from Hot 97. And, Angie Martinez was a Hot 97 DJ for a very long time. She was basically the face of Hot 97. I grew up idolizing Angie Martinez. And now that I'm my age, I don't like to use the word idol, but growing up as a hip hop fanatic and enthusiast, Angie Martinez was the first person that I saw that I could relate to that looked like me. Same complexion, reminded me of me so much that I was able to get into the hip hop game and sit amongst, all the rappers. And because all the women that I saw in hip hop growing up was DJ Jazzy Joyce, Coco Chanel, MC Light. Everybody was black. So, which is not a problem, you know what I'm saying? But I was like the minority in that, loving hip hop so much and seeing Angie Martinez do it. It was like, oh wow, it showed me that it could be possible for me to do it. Like a black president show the little boys it's possible for, a black president for it to happen. So I'll unmute you because I know you probably want to chime in somewhere. So with the whole Angie Martinez situation, everybody knows I go so hard for her. So I was online one day and Gully was doing his thing online, creating his content, popping his ish, doing the Gully thing. And he was giving it to Angie hard. He was going hard at her. And I don't know how I saw the story. I think somebody might have forwarded it to me or whatever, but I saw the story and I said, what? So I went in his comments and I got at him. So we going back and forth in his comments. He accused me of being an Angie Martinez burner account. And I said, who the F? Yo, I hit up my homeboy. I said, who the F is this clown? And I took a screenshot of you, sent it to my homeboy. I said, who the F is this clown going in on Angie Martinez? I can't, what the hell is da-da-da? So my homeboy was like, that's Gully TV. He does street, he's a YouTuber. He does, he interviews all the gangsters and the street hustlers and this and that. I said, well, I don't give a F because he's going in on Angie and blah, blah, blah. So after that exchange, I think you started following me or we started following each other. And then we started talking and I explained to you why I was going so hard for Angie. So then you started asking me my opinion on music. And then we just started talking from there. And you turned out to be a real cool person. But my first impression of you, I couldn't stand. I was like, oh, what an ASS, what an ass.
It was, that whole situation was centered around the murder of Yusef Hawkins. Him and his brothers, they went to a certain part of Brooklyn, I believe it was Bensonhurst, to buy a car, and he was killed. And when the case, a documentary was made, so it kind of like resuscitated, the whole topic of Yusef Hawkins. And what ended up coming out was that Patty Duke, he was like a radio personality, I guess.
Like a sidekick, kind of was in the background producer.
Yeah, he wasn't really like no DJ or nothing. He his name was Little Pat. He was Little Pat. That was his name back in the day. He was the guy, Little Pat, who was charged, one of the guys who was charged with the murder of Yusef Hawkins. And he's been amongst the hip hop community all of these years. And I inferred, I insinuated, you could say I insinuated that Angie Martinez, being a peer of him, was aware of, his criminal past. So that's how so that's how me and you, but you was talking your little shit or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Did you really think I was an Angie Martinez burner account? You thought I was really Angie or no?
you was going hard. I mean, I'm like, you had a little spunk and shit. I'm like, damn, you was talking your shit. You was talking shit. You was talking shit like you was serious. Like you was like thought you was like a Angie Martinez stan or something like that. Like you was going crazy and shit. Like so, we discussed it. We got by it. I made it clear to you my motive in speaking about it.
Right.
I'm from the generation where the Yusef Hawkins murder was a big deal. So when the documentary came out, I actually was a part of the marketing machine, behind the Yusef Hawkins documentary. When it came to social media, I met them. I met his people and shit like that. So I was close to the situation. So I was very passionate about it once I met his people.
Right.
So
once you explain that to me, right? Exactly.
Hip hop don't stop.
Definitely not.
We got beyond that, so it's all good.
And speaking of hip hop don't stop, you got so many things that you got going on, and we're going to get into everything, but I want to take the people back a little bit. Speaking of hip hop, and for those of y'all that's not from those of y'all that's from New York, y'all might hear like a little accent when y'all hear Gully talk. but most people think that Gully is from Brooklyn because he got like, you know, a little New York swag. But tell the people where you from, Gully.
What's New York swag? We gotta before I tell you where I'm from. Before I tell you where I'm from, you
I
gotta
know
give
where
me
you from.
you
This is
gotta
for the
give me a
people.
little bit of insight on this New York swag thing.
You got like,
I've got the Brooklyn thing before,
yeah,
especially from females for whatever reason. But go ahead.
I could definitely, I mean, I can hear your accent, so I know you're not from New York, but you definitely got East Coast flavor. You could definitely, I could see people saying Philly. I could see people guessing Jersey, New York. It's definitely East Coast for
No
sure.
doubt. No
But
doubt.
tell the people a little, tell us, you know, where you from and a little bit about your upbringing, because you know a lot of people they see and I know you got your, you know, biography and everything coming out, so we won't go into every detail, but a lot of people.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just, go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. A lot of people see the finished product now. Oh, Gully TV's lit. He got X amount of followers. He interviewed every gangster. You know, he's this, he's that. But they don't really know, you know what I'm saying, the grind that it took to get there and how you started out. You know, just a kid. Well, I'll first tell us where you from, and we'll go
I'm
from
from
there.
Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm from the east side of Erie, Pennsylvania. Um, I'm from 17th and German. I'm not from the projects. I'm from across the street. You know what I'm saying? I spent a lot of time, um, I don't know, in the projects and shit, playing ball and shit. I'm a basketball player. You know what I mean? I don't got no other claim to fame. I ain't
That's
gonna
your
say that.
first love, right?
First love. Number one, you see the first thing that come out my mouth. You know what I mean? So I only spent time. Only other place I spent time as a youth was Norfolk, Virginia. We stayed. Shout out to the Point Terrace projects and shit at Norfolk. But anyway, I'm an athlete. That's who I am. Before all of this, I'm still an athlete. But before everything, I'm an athlete. And had an older brother who was very much in tune with hip hop. I had an excellent role model, in my bedroom, someone to look at, and absorb fashion trends and just the latest everything, was right there in my bedroom. And
A lot of people don't know that you are also a big fashion enthusiast and you used to
that's
design a
I
lot of
do.
fashion.
I don't just design. I really, you could say fashion enthusiast. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. I'm a collector. Um, I consider myself to be a vintage fashion don. If it's old, that's my shit. Like
Hmm.
old sneakers. Like a lot of people, the sneakerheads. They collect sneakers. They primarily collect when they say they're a sneakerhead. They primarily collect Air Jordans or Yeezys or something like that. But me, I go deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? I chase vintage pieces from the golden years of hip hop, which would be like 1987, 88, all
Hmm.
the way up to 92. You see that 1992 on a lot of polo garments.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That was a big year. You know what I mean, for polo. I'm at that age where I'm at the exact age where I grew up with hip hop, watching Mr. T on television, idolizing Mr. T, big gold chains.
All
Like
the chains.
I'm 100% at that age that I grew up with the flavor of hip hop. So when people see me, I'm just a walking personification of that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I can't give. I wouldn't credit my flavor to anything else but hip hop. You know what I mean? During the course of my travels, I didn't met a lot of different fly people and been introduced to things along the way and shit, that I was able to add to my arsenal. And at this point, I'm someone that you would consider a fashion veteran. I've met the giants in East Coast fashion. Guys like Willie Esco. You know what I mean? These different big time designers who influenced hip hop fashion and shit like that.
Right.
I met him. Jeff Hamilton, his leather jackets have been legendary in this business. That's a personal friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoy collecting. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I don't get to because I'm so busy with my career. I don't get to rock my shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people only hear me talking shit about how fly I am all the time. They don't get a chance to see it. You know what I'm saying? Because I be so busy and shit. But
you got to do a lookbook.
I collect that shit. I love it. You know what I mean? The Sergio Tacchini that's popular right now. I've been online wearing that for like 5 years now. And it's popping today. This is what your favorite rapper would be wearing right now today. You know what I mean?
Definitely. You definitely a trendsetter with that. And a lot of people don't know. It's like, I think that's what makes hip hop so creative and unique, that it's just so many people from different walks of creative life coming together, whether it's music, it's fashion, it's style, it's streetwear, it's makeup artists coming together with fashion creators, with musicians, it's all creative people coming together, and that's what makes it so unique. But I wanted to bring it back to when you were younger. Besides you being a ball player and just naturally athletic and loving, ball and loving fashion, you were also you also just a creative kid, period. But you also excelled in reading and writing. Not only, so you had that as well. So I read your book, and let me put up this banner real quick with the name of his book right now. It's called Some Things I've Been Through. Let me put that up right now. Give me 1 second, because I'm like a producer on this show and all this other kind of stuff at the same time. Okay.
Let's go. Okay, I see you.
This is okay. So Some Things I've Been Through. That's the name of your book. I read it yesterday. I loved it. I'm hearing a little bit of feedback, Gully. You mind muting real quick? Perfect. Okay. So his book is called Some Things I've Been Through. If you guys haven't checked it out after this interview, I need you immediately to go on Amazon and either purchase it online. I got mine on Kindle, and I was able to read it on my phone, or you could order the paperback, either one. It's dope. He goes into his life, how he started out into journalism and eventually, interviewing politicians, some of the world-renowned gangsters of this lifetime. And we're going to get into that. But tell me a little bit about, I think this is important for people to know, because this didn't just land on your lap. You got involved when you were young, although you were so talented, so smart. You got involved in the drug game and the prison game when you were young. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh yeah. Just as well as I'll explain to you that I'm at that age that I grew up with hip hop. I grew up with the crack era and hip hop kind of like was growing together in the communities in the 1980s. It kind of like was almost like a package deal. As hip hop grew, the drug game grew too, and you would start to see people who was getting drug money. They had money to dress like hip hop now. You know what I'm saying? So, and vice versa. So, I'm at that age where, it was common for, everybody to be selling some dope. You know what I mean? I got into the crack game when I was like, I don't know, like first encountered it when I was like maybe like 14 or something like that. I'm from that era when you didn't have to be like involved in shit, like somebody on your football team, like one of your buddies, somebody that you go to the boys club with, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody that you might have been in a Boy Scouts with or some shit like that. All of a sudden, he got his hands on something from maybe an uncle. Like if it's six of us and we ride bikes together every day, when that crack came, somebody out that six was going to get their hands on it. And when he got
Yeah.
his hands on it, what he was going to do, turn the other 5 guys out. You know what I'm saying? Put them on, put them in the mix. So that's kind of like what happens. You know the guys that you was just going, half on a slice of pizza with, now he's buying a whole pizza for the whole little crew now and shit. Like
Yep.
there's money around and it's tempting. And before know what, it was just like regular shit. Everybody my age was selling crack. Everybody my age in their 40s got crack related charges on their jacket. Like the institutional boom that where prisons got filled and all of that shit. The prison boom, the prison growth, that was from the fucking crack game and shit. That wasn't from nothing else. That wasn't from heroin. That wasn't from cocaine. That was from the motherfucking crack game. That's what made prisons swell up like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. I could definitely tell you from a New York City point of view what the crack hold on one moment because I'm hearing feedback. I could definitely tell you what the crack game did in New York City. There wasn't a block as a kid in the 80s. I was born in the 80s, and I couldn't walk a block without seeing crack vials on the floor in the park. Crackheads just everywhere. Crack houses everywhere. It's not a secret, for me, my parents were, victims of the drug era in the 80s, and they were addicted to drugs as well, which is how I ended up in the system. In the inner city, inner city kid ended up in the system. That's my story. We'll talk about that later. This is about Gully, but that's how I ended up in it. So I was in New York City at the time, and it was like zombie land. It was like everywhere, which took a lot of people. It took the nation by storm. It took a lot of fathers out of the hood. The drug dealers was getting richer. The addicts were, being put in prisons and drug rehabs. And then there was a lot of kids around our age that was like fending for ourselves. We was getting it out of the mud. We were grown. I've been taking care of myself damn near since I'm 6 years old. And that was the reality for a lot of people in our generation. So I could definitely see how you would get involved, in something like that. So now you're involved, you're getting money, you're doing all these things, and you wind up in the prison system in a juvenile detention center, correct?
Yeah, before the crack game, a lot of people used to rob and steal. So, a lot of us got them robbery, strong arm robbery, retail thefts and shit like that on our jacket too. So I was going to the institutions, to the juvenile joints for shit like that. And I was becoming more advanced and going further into this hole of crime. And I was also learning a lot of shit that was important and that would make me more advanced than people. Um, you know, it would make me more advanced than people my age.
Right.
But anyway, I was always playing basketball, so I got a chance to, when I came home from the juvenile joints, I got a chance to go to prep school. I was still selling drugs. I never stopped selling drugs ever until until I was, like grown and in trouble
Right.
and shit. Like before Gully TV, like right before Gully TV started to take off, I ended up getting a book deal, and that kind of began.
Yeah, I wanted to go into that, Gully.
Yeah, that kind of began my path of becoming legitimate. But before that, nothing in the world meant more. Nothing in the world meant more than selling crack. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the lifeblood of Black America. You know what I'm saying? And I was a part of it. So,
Right.
some people got caught and got life. Some people got killed. But it's just the reality of what happened in Black America. And if you're from the East Coast, it was a lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and shit, from New York and New Jersey who had a lot of coke and shit like that. So I'm from Pennsylvania. That shit this whole, they call it the tri-state, the whole I-95 corridor. You know what I mean? Everybody, my story ain't no different than everybody in that regard. I did end up, getting a chance to go to college briefly. I did, end up securing a book deal while I was in jail and shit like that.
Yes.
That's all in my book. But
Yes, this is in your book, but what I wanted to say is in college is that when you realized your talent at your reading and writing, how you excel? Is that
oh,
teacher
writing. It was college is when it was the first time that somebody who was
acknowledged it?
who was important um acknowledged it and
Right.
said it was just like it was the equivalent of somebody saying, yo, you nice. You know what I'm saying? Her name was Miss Dayton, Miss Ann Dayton. She was a college professor at
Shout out to her.
Slippery Rock University. Yeah, she read my. We had a paper at the beginning of college writing one. We had to write our journey to Slippery Rock University, how we got there and shit. Now, I'd never been to no proms or no. I only went to one
Homecoming.
homecoming, but yeah, I never been to that. I never been to none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I never class president, and I never been in. I was getting money in the streets and shit the whole time. That all of that was going on. So I couldn't. I tried to write make up a story like I had a conventional journey to school and shit, and it didn't sound right. So I was like, man, fuck it. I'm just gonna tell the truth, and I just wrote the truth. And when she
Right.
read it, it was so descriptive and real. And she was like, man, this shit is. You went through all of this shit, and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, man, you write your ass off, like, like it's vivid, and she's like, you nice, like you got a gift. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that. I always walked around with that. After that, that's something I always carried. It was as if I had a master's degree after she said that, and she
Right. It
only
was
gave me
validation.
a compliment and shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when I would encounter people, I felt that I had I was more of an eloquent speaker. I felt that I had more. I was better at oration. I just felt that I was better with words. You know what I'm saying, and communication and things like that. That's all of that derived from her telling me that I was nice with words.
Right.
And during while this is going on, I'm doing time, and I'm going in and out of jail and shit like that. So I'm fucking with dictionaries and thesauruses, and I'm reading books and shit like that. So my wordplay and shit, and my vocabulary, my lexicon is expanding.
Right.
So when it comes down to me writing, my shit is gonna be a lot more colorful than everybody
Absolutely.
else and shit. Instead of
Absolutely.
saying cat, I might say saying cat, I might say feline.
Feline. Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So
Yeah.
that
And
type of shit.
I think it's so important for people to uplift and empower, especially the youth. And like even for me, growing up in the system, I had so many staff and different people along the way that believed in me and pushed me to go to college and uplifted and empowered me. And that's why I try to do that in my own life with people, because you never know. And I used to be like you, making up stories and stuff when I would go to new schools. Oh, I'm from here, my parents are this. And it's like, no, never be ashamed of your story.
Right,
Own story and
right.
stand in your story. And that's why I say it proud, like where I'm from, how I grew up. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of that. So I wanted to go back to you. I'm gonna just mute you real quick. Because this thing, I don't know. Shout out to StreamYard, but sometimes this thing be giving too much feedback. Don't you see? I see the correlation in you, because if you never went through what you did in juvie and in the crack game, I don't think you would ever be able to be in the same rooms as these, notorious gangsters like Haitian Jack and all this, because there's a certain level of relatability. Because yes, you're talented as a journalist, and yeah, you're a hip hop, connoisseur, and you have all these things that get you a seat at the table. But I think because of the things that you went through and came out of on the other side, it made you so so relatable to these like gangsters that they allowed you to come into their world. So tell me a little bit about, okay, so you secured the book deal and everything like that while you were in prison. So you had but you was hustling, like, don't get me wrong, you was hustling your books out there to different publishers, and a lot of them, they didn't believe in you, or they, passed up on you. So you had somebody that believed in you, took a chance on you, and you did a lot of ghostwriting. And when you came out, I would say, I don't want to speak for you, but when you came out of prison, you didn't go directly into, landing these huge interviews. You had so many years where it was you grinding as a content creator. So tell me a little bit about that.
I ended up, leaving prison, getting a deal with Triple Crown Publishing, of course. I tried to present a pilot that I had written. Just like my college professor said, I was an excellent writer. I wrote a pilot. We call them treatments. I wrote a treatment for a show called Gully TV, which would technically had been Smack DVD at the time. Because when I came home and I thought I was about to drop this grand idea on the world, Smack DVD was already out.
Yeah.
But I tried to present it to my publisher, Vicky Stringer, who I was signed to at Triple Crown Publishing, and she wouldn't really hear it. I was trying to tell her that everything, this book thing, this book shit that we was doing was about to go to the next level, was about to go to the visuals, the medias. And as you can see, Terry Woods, who was a writer with me at the time, she has a movie it's called True to the Game. It's on Amazon.
Classic book.
You know what I'm saying? And that started out as a book. You know what I'm saying? So, boom. She didn't. I was telling her that this in 2004 that books could be this, and I was trying to implement, this idea for Gully TV, and she wasn't really receptive to it. So I ended up going out on my own, and I was grinding in the streets, DVDs and everything. Yep. In regards to what I have in common, what gave me an edge, and why I was embraced by a lot of gangsters. A lot of these guys were older than me, and I approached them with reverence. You know what I mean? Not as no big homie or nothing like that, or not no dick ride and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It might be, I like your style, or some shit like that. It might be. It was with us. It was fashion.
Right.
That's what me and Haitian Jack, me and Alpo, me and Sean Branch, me and Kareem Mowat, we always had, fashion conversations and shit. And all my interviews with them guys might have started out with fashion. When we encounter and shit, whatever, the guy wearing or I'm wearing, the type of garments the guys like us wear, they're conversation pieces.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, straight like that, I can't describe it any better. We walking, conversation pieces as far as the fashion game going. I could have these conversations with these older guys because, like I said, I had an older brother.
And your dad, and you have
my father, exactly.
Appreciation for luxury, which I wanted to ask you because you said that you love designer fragrance, and so do I. So I wanted to ask you what your favorite designer fragrance is.
Oh, right now, Creed Vintage. That's like one of the top fragrances in the United States. Costs like $500 a bottle and shit, $450, something like that. But they got a lot of different creeds. They got several different.
I know. I like
flavors.
The black one.
But a Venice, when I went and caught my first bottle and shit, I asked her, I said, which one of these motherfuckers make a bitch snap? Which one of these gonna snap a bitch neck? She said, what you say? I said, if I walk by,
I'm dead.
With one of these on, which one of these is? She was like, this one right here. She knew exactly what I was talking about. So, and I love the smell. The first, what made me go buy the Creed was one of my homeboys came around me. And he had it on and shit. I'm like, damn, what the fuck is that? And he told me, he's like, man, this shit costs $500 and shit. I'm like, shit, it's worth it because, people remember fragrances, and you're gonna remember that. Like you will remember a fragrance 30 years from now and shit.
Absolutely.
Like so, Um, Conversation pieces, with hip hop and just general man shit, would lead to these guys being comfortable talking to me about their life and shit like that. And I would make it clear to them that I don't want to talk about no murders and shit like that. Like with Sean Branch, me and Sean Branch, who was allegedly allegedly. Sean Branch was charged with 10 homicides. He beat 10 homicides in court. There's no reason for me to interview a person like that. That's not, that's not cool.
Right.
Um, that's not conversation
To
worthy.
glamorize.
Right. Boom. Me and him came together because he was a published author. You know what I'm saying? He had went to jail, served his time, got a diploma, college degree, and all type of accreditations, and reprogrammed his life. And then he came home with a book, and I was introduced to him, and he trusted me to tell his story in a way that he trusted me with reintroducing him to society. This is someone who was charged with 10 homicides when he was, in his probably late teens, early 20s or something like that. And he trusted me with that. And once people seen how I handled Sean, they like, okay, this is how this is almost therapeutic. These guys almost need to talk about this shit. You know what I'm saying? They never got a chance to apologize publicly. You know what I'm saying? They never, it's just
Right.
it works out for everybody. It's like, having a cipher, and we sharing it with the public. Me and this brother from DC, he came to me with a story. We kicking it about things from the past. But like I said, I made it clear to them, we not on no killing shit over here. We
Right.
don't glorify that shit over here. You know what I mean? So same with Alpo. I told him that's what made him be able to kick it with me and shit. I told him, I said, I don't want to talk about Rich Porter. I don't
Right.
want to talk about that with you at all, my nigga. Like, we could talk about other shit that you
Yeah.
got going on, or what you did, but we don't have to talk about that. And they respect that.
Right.
So
Because I believe that there's a certain level of you humanizing them. So it's not
that word was used to me by Barry Michael Cooper. Barry Michael Cooper produced New Jack City and a bunch of other shit. I can't remember. Above the Rim, New Jack City, and another classic. And he tweeted that to me. He said, you humanize Sean Branch and shit. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
Because
word. I appreciate
again,
that.
absolutely, you did. It's essentially, pulling back the curtain and giving the public front row seats of, a behind the scenes, human to human, man to man conversation with these gangsters, and you did humanize them, and that's what I guess a good like a talented good journalist kind of does, maintains the integrity and humanizes the people. And yeah, and that's dope, so I definitely have to commend you on that. Now I wanted to ask you, because you've interviewed a lot of people, what would you say was your most challenging yet rewarding project that you worked on? Would you say it's the Haitian Jack documentary?
Nah. You said challenging. Challenging has been the Murder Unit saga, and that's because number one. It's been I'm on the fourth installment. It's been four parts, but when you're talking about the Murder Unit, you're talking about 9 niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like whenever I mention Murder Unit, I'm talking about number 67. I'm talking about
yeah,
number zero minus. I'm talking about number 22. Like there's a bunch of different guys, and I'm giving narrative on each of these guys, and I'm connecting the dots. With even some of the brothers who's deceased, number 23 and number 7, I believe. You know what I'm saying? And just making it make sense, and again, telling their story and making it in a way that not one but 7 niggas is cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
7 niggas approve, 7, 8 niggas approve of it. Like, you know, I fuck with that. I fuck with that. I fuck with that. So that's been a challenge. The Haitian Jack joint, after I secured the footage, it just, that shit just came to me, man. Like I knew what I had to do. I knew that the world was dependent on me. I knew it was like the biggest moment in my life. I knew that, you know, this is where, you know, Eminem got that song, "You Gotta Lose Yourself in the Movie."
Yes.
That I knew that this was that time, and I knew that it was in correlation to Tupac Shakur, and I knew that network TV was chasing me. What I mean by that, is that I knew that I had to get my shit off before network television got to Haitian Jack. They had already put the movie out, All Eyes on Me, the biopic. And in the biopic, they portrayed Haitian Jack as a guy named Nigel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And right while this is going on, I'm making my little moves and shit. And he took notice of me, and me and him hooked up right after the movie came out. Me and him hooked up like a few months later. Like, I know that corporate America is coming after him, and I know he want them to come. I know he want them. Right. I'm the little man, and as far as the bankroll, the finances, the resources, I'm the little man in this situation. I'm the underdog, so I had to go on in there, in the Lions Den with a guy who's been, you know, spoken to be notorious by some people. There's other people who love, adore, and admire him. You know what I'm saying? I had to go to him, live with him, eat with him,
yeah,
and draw my own conclusions on what type of person he was. And it's definitely been the biggest moment in my life, turning point in my life, and so many other things happened because of that. It started with Haitian Jack. It ended with Dexter Isaac, and Jimmy Henchman called me, like, and Mark Curry, like all types of. I'm a big deal all of a sudden behind this one project.
It's like a domino effect.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could say that, but
with that, it's not all
big
roses.
Dominoes, like big culture, generational. This shit gonna be spoken of 50 years from now. This is about Tupac and shit. You know what I'm saying? This is in relation to Tupac's song "Against All Odds." You dig what I'm saying? So I kind of closed the chapter on that whole story. Right. It started with a song.
Yep.
He mentioned Haitian Jack. Nobody ever seen him. I went and got Haitian Jack, got with him, let him give his take and say what happened. And right after that, right after I did my thing, like you seen, corporate America got to him, and then he ended up on TV and all of that shit. So
absolutely, but you was the first one,
huh? Yeah, definitely. I was the first. My name always going to be associated with that. That's something that I've always, you know, once I got in the mix for real, I wanted to make that a regular occurrence. That it wasn't. It ain't never been about money with me. I be trying to knock shit out the park. You know what I'm saying? I be wanting CNN to know about my shit, know about what's going on over here. Like when I interviewed Aaliyah's bodyguard, like I be shooting for shit that affects worldly pop and hip hop culture on a global stage.
Absolutely.
So yeah, word.
And I think that the level of responsibility that you have, I think if you didn't have to grind the way you did to get to where you're at to get these interviews, you wouldn't be able to appreciate that response, or even, you know, handle with care that responsibility that you have to bring the stories to the public, to bring it with integrity, with truth, in a way where, you know, it's not a smear campaign with people. It's in an ethical way. And again, I don't want people to think that it's a bed of roses, because this also comes with jealousy, hate, and drama as well. When you start opening up, Pandora's box, and you start talking to different people, that can also bring a lot of drama into your life. So it's almost like you're riding that thin line between, do I cover this or do I run the opposite way away from this? Because this could potentially cause somebody to come try to murder me. Because you hear about reporters getting stalked and all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's definitely not an easy road. So I definitely commend you for your courage, your bravery, your integrity, your hard work, and everything that you did. Congratulations with all of that stuff. Now you said, because I don't want to keep you here all night, because I still want to play like a few games with you and stuff. I always do that with my guests. But I know you said you closed the chapter right now on true crime and gangster stories for now, correct?
I felt that shit, Alpo that got killed. That was the last person that, I could have got on my resume. Everybody else that was big in New York City, Bemmy, Lou Steffen, just all types of, giants from New York and shit, them been on my platform and shit. Shit, even Jimmy Henchman's on my shit, cussing and shit. You know what I'm saying? So Alpo was the last big whale as far as a gangster story. It didn't get no bigger than him, and you seen the effect that he had on the world when he, got killed or whatever. If I would have got Alpo, I would have been, the undisputed king of, the gangster media shit. You know what I'm saying? As far as, my resume and shit like that, I mean, nobody would challenge me online. Before me, Troy Reed did a lot of exceptional projects, legendary projects that will never be duplicated. He the first person, and he's the only person that has an Alpo documentary that's out. But when it comes to online, nobody has my resume or, I got the real Rick Ross. I've been interviewed
Right.
the real Rick Ross, not over the phone, in person, in LA. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So
And if y'all want to check all that content out, go to @TheRealGully TV. I have his banner on the bottom. Check out all of those interviews there. I wanted to talk about some projects that you're doing now that you mentioned to me. Right now, you're currently working on a documentary with Shaheem. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about that? I know it's not out yet, so you can touch on it a little bit as much as you want.
We about to start shooting like the next, 10 days, some shit like that.
That's exciting.
That's my guy. He's just his career has been just incredibly resuscitated after prison. Post prison, he came home. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do. Me and him met after he came home, and we did work together several times. Oats even out of town and shit like that. Just working and compatible and being the same age and both liking fly shit, fashion and shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been somebody that he's, asked, digital information, firsthand information, and advice in regards to his isometrics brand and shit, showing him how to, put a stamp on that shit digitally, because that's what I do and shit. He's just a rapper and shit, you know what I mean? And because of that, our relationship went further. We, just getting busy. And before you know it, I've done so much media. He didn't see damage I've done. He asked me, man, like, what's up? What's up with I was flattered. He asked me to do it. You know what I mean? I'm like, hell yeah, hell yeah.
You cannot be a hip hop fan and definitely not a Wu-Tang fan and not know who Shaheem is. Like, Shaheem is like my age. So I just remember, seeing him growing up and, he was the young dude in the crew, and he was nice with it. And I'm like, oh, he was around, he was, the other guys his age, like Crisscross and those others rappers and stuff. He was always so much more advanced for his age. He was rapping with Meth and Ray and everything. And I related to him as a girl, because I'm like, I was his age hanging around all the older heads too. And I'm like, he's dope. So I'm excited to see that for sure. So besides the Shaheem documentary, tell me what you're excited about. Well, before you tell me what you're excited about for 2022 and the things that you're working on and stuff, I want to know, as I said before, you're a larger content creator, and I really appreciate you coming to a smaller content creator channel like mine and showing me love and sitting down and kicking it with me. I appreciate that. But for other people that are smaller channels or maybe trying to grow, what advice would you give smaller content creators in building their, I guess, channel, social media platform, or what advice? Like, what's like the number one thing that you learned on your grind?
Originality. I wouldn't, because this is YouTube is almost like MySpace now, like where everybody has one now. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, people ain't gonna have the same success right away, not unless you have some interesting content.
Right.
And what I mean by that is just good conversation and being able to connect with a crowd whenever you presenting them with something. I do a lot of my own narration, or I type it on the screen and shit like that. But you gotta. I noticed that a lot of people try to get on YouTube and they try to go the tabloid negative route. Get into the gossip and the fighting and beefing with other YouTubers and making videos about people and shit like that. Yeah, I guess that's the name for it. That seemed to be something that a common thing that people do, but that's not. Those are the people who won't really get any
lasting
footing.
Power.
Yeah, they won't get any footing and they won't be around because so many people are doing that.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? So I would advise people to do shit that's original, flavorful, have good lighting, colors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
That's true. Colors is a good one, especially in your thumbnails and stuff. I heard that's really good. That's so dope. So, is that Ted Bundy?
Colors.
Is that Ted Bundy?
Huh?
Is that Ted Bundy?
Oh no, that's Pablo Escobar.
I was like, wait, is that a serial killer, Ted Bundy? But yeah, that is Pablo. That's dope.
Yeah, that's Escobar.
Did you draw that?
No, this is a Francis G original. Francis G is a popular artist who's on the rise. I got a chance to interview him before everybody else. You know what I mean? And he's putting out dope. He does burners. He does murals. I think he might have redid Big L's mural up in Harlem. But yeah, he sent me this piece. It's an original piece he did for me. Probably end up on a T-shirt one day.
Yo, I really like that. That's definitely dope. Why did I think that was Ted Bundy? I was about to be like, whoa, okay. That's what's up. But, there's one thing that I learned, from your book after reading it. One thing popped out at me. Believing in yourself is a full-time job. That's what I took after reading your book. Believing in yourself every day is a full-time job. And I think that people need to, that's what I took after reading that, because I'm like, damn, you went through so much, and we didn't even get into your autobiography. I can't wait to read that, but it definitely wasn't a cakewalk. Your journey definitely wasn't in a cakewalk, but you didn't stop believing in yourself and you kept it original. So I think that's why you have the success that you have, and you always keep it 100. So, and that's what I want people, to take away after this interview is to, regardless of whatever you see online, you a good person and you have integrity, and you you worked hard just like anybody else to get to where you're at now, and it wasn't easy for you. So
Right.
that's what I took away from after reading your book.
I got 3,000. I'm about 16 interviews from having 3,000 videos online.
That's a grind.
I was always into sports. Like I said, I'm a basketball player, point guard, used to winning. Winning has always been the objective. You know what I'm saying? So I came here feeling that I was better than people. I don't got no problem saying that. I think they call that narcissistic. I don't know. It's all right with me. It's been great to me, just relying on self and outworking people and shit. Like I don't, even approach my craft from a perspective of looking at what other people was doing. I just be creating.
Right.
And people happen to like it. People happen to like it. You know what I'm saying? I call it the dribble. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know. Get your dribble right and all that. Yes. Listen, I want you to promote okay, tell me what you're excited about in 2022, and then give everybody, because I have your YouTube channel here. We're gonna promo your book again, and you have a store where you sell merch and stuff. And then tell me what you're doing in 2022, and then we're gonna get into some hot topics and a few little games, and I'm gonna let you get out of here because I'm gonna put you on next.
Oh, shit, I'm excited.
What you excited about in 2022?
The upcoming documentary with Shaheem. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Because I know that the world is gonna watch it, and I want them to say, "That's fire."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they said about my last shit. You know what I'm saying? My last shit. You know what I mean? When the whole world is your audience, it's different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could imagine how, hip hop artists be feeling right prior to having to release an album, because they got to write those lyrics. You know what I mean? They got to record that. They got to perfect that perfect package to sell to fans, because they want a good response. And because if it ain't no good, the fans going to tell you it ain't no good. And
absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited about that. I'm going to really dig, within and pull out some dope shit for y'all. I got a title for it. I just came up with it like yesterday, day before. And I haven't told him yet because, it's still been untitled. I told him I'm going to come up with the title. We had, he put it on me. All creative control on me. He's just going to be a reciprocal. He's going to stand in front of the camera. He's going to point, direct, tell me what we got to do. And I'm just going to get these gigs up.
I know it's going to be dope.
Once I get, all the footage, then like I said, it's on me again.
Absolutely. Because you're also coming from the angle of a fan as well. So I think that's what helps so much, because you're not only the director, but you're also a fan of this person, and you remember that era.
I think that Shaheem was he was the Michael Jackson. He was the hip hop. He was the Michael Jackson of hip hop. What I mean by that is he was a little child prodigy performer. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson wasn't just a singer. He was a dancer. He was an actor. He was a bunch of shit when he was a kid. Shaheem was the same way and shit. You know what I mean? Shaheem was a highly decorated actor. Shaheem was a musician. You know what I mean? He was a fashion model. Shaheem was signed before Wu-Tang was signed. So his story don't even begin there, even though they're both from Staten Island and he's Wu-Tang family. You know what I mean? He's with them. I'm just saying this is a part of the truth of the story. And then he was incarcerated. He was in the TLC Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls video. He was.
I remember that.
The original Gangsters movie with Fred Williamson and Jim Brown and Pam Grier. You know what I'm saying? He was on the show with Robert Towns. He just has so many. It's so much that I have to document. And deliver to y'all. And then he goes to jail and does almost 10 years, about 9 years or something like that. And then he came home and then he's blowing up again. So I gotta compile all of that and put it in a package where you all love it. So
That's
that's the
gonna be
biggest thing
dope.
that's going on with me right now after this last murder unit piece. Um, my podcast, I
Podcast.
just got the report back last week. I'm ranked number 129 in the country, United States. I just dropped 3 episodes today. Lord Jamar, Grayson and Jason, and something else. I'm a
Tell the
workaholic.
people the
I
name of your
love it, man. I
podcast.
don't really be looking at the stats like that. I don't be looking at the stats like that. I don't even spend the money. I just reinvest it. You know what I'm saying? So
Tell the people the name of your podcast.
my podcast is called Gully TV presents The Dribble.
Gully
The Dribble
TV presents
Podcast.
the Dribble Podcast. You could check that out on all streaming platforms because I know Gully has it on Spotify, Anchor, Apple, and probably every other
Yeah.
icon that you could.
Amazon, Kindle, all
Amazon,
that, yeah.
Kindle, all that stuff. So check out the Dribble Podcast. Gully, I have his Instagram, Gully TV Sports. That's your Instagram, right?
That's one of my pages. I got about 4 of them.
Yeah, because he keeps getting clipped, y'all.
Yeah. My main media joint has been clipped several times for some of my abrasive content. Not anything that I did. They just said some of the shit was too violent, and they did it to a lot of people. But my personal IG right now is at I am Gully TV _
At I am Gully TV _. That's his personal Instagram. Tap into his YouTube page, tap into his podcast, check out his book, Some Things I've Been Through. Check out all his content with
got two YouTube channels, Gully TV Sports. That's one of my
Gully
YouTube
TV
channels.
Sports, where
The Real
he covers
Gully
all his
TV.
sports. Yep. And the Real Gully TV.
I got the website, www.therealdribble.com.
He got
Gully TV, the magazine.
All things Gully TV. Gully TV World. Just like Angie's World. We both got the globe.
Pretty much. Black Media Titan.
Absolutely. I want y'all all to tap in with Gully. All right. So before I let you go, I just, I want to play. I do a little game, you know what I'm saying? I do a few games and hot topics with my guests before I let you go, because I don't like it to be all serious. We got to kick back and chill for a second. So I just wanted to touch on a few hot topics, and then we're going to play a game called Red Flag or Deal Breaker.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then I came up with a special game for you, and it's called Versus. And I'm just going to ask you, it's kind of like rapid fire. I'm going to give you two things, and then you're going to tell me you without a chance, because you can't take a chance to think. You just got to rapid fire, tell me this or that kind of thing. But I'll start out with the hot topics. I mean, it might sound redundant to you because you cover some of these. I mean, us doing media, we're covering, the same topics over and over. But the other day I listened to your live, and you were having an Eminem conversation with your subscribers and myself, because I'm a subscriber and I was tuned in. Tell me a little bit about the title of that, about Eminem is.
Oh yeah, he's kicked out. He's kicked out of Cypher. He's kicked out of hip hop. I think I'm the first person with any say so in this culture. I have a voice in this culture. I'm the Dribble from the East Coast, Gully TV. You know what I mean? Everybody know me. I believe I'm the first to vocally say that Eminem is garbage. He's never been really that good in music. There's so many people way better than him. They tried to force feed him to us that he was one of the greatest of all time. Whenever magazines would print the greatest of all times, for some reason they had the I don't know, motive or some reason they would put his face in the next to Jay-Z, Biggie, Nas, and Tupac and shit like that. I don't know what if it was a Mount Rushmore, that this is the type of shit that they would do, and that couldn't be further from the truth. People don't prefer Eminem over Ice Cube. People don't prefer Eminem over Spice One, over Rick Ross, over Eazy-E, over Grand Puba, over Chuck D, over Big Daddy Kane. People don't prefer Eminem over nobody for real. Like, even if he let's say he has a couple of songs, that's cool. We never listened to him. You dig what I'm saying? Like I said, I grew up with hip hop and alongside hip hop, and it has a sound, and it's cool, and his shit ain't never been cool. His first song that he came out with was called "My Name Is." That's the first one that we seen. It was on BET.
That song didn't really hit me, the Hi My Name Is, because I think that was sort of his version of trolling all the pop stars at the time. Like,
Right.
he was, to me, he was like probably one of the first trolls.
Okay,
You know?
but the people that he was talking about, we didn't care about those people.
Right.
We didn't care about Primus and 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
All of that shit that he was talking about, that had nothing to do with hip hop. So technically, what he came along and did was something different. Like, they almost could say what you was doing was some shit similar to Kid Rock. That's what they should say. That's what they should say. They should say that he was doing something similar to Kid Rock. If you not rapping about shit that appeal to the listening ear of hip hop. Hip hop has a government. You dig what I'm saying? And the people, the governing body in hip hop, they look like me. There's several they come in several different hues: yellow, brown, tan, butter right. Puerto Rican, you know what I mean? Butter pecan, Puerto Rican. There's several different hues. Right. But the governing body look like me. And if it ain't funky to us, if it don't make us head bob, if you don't relate to it, if the cool table don't say that this is what's up, then it ain't what's up. Then we don't fuck with it, and we never fucked with it. And I'm not saying that I speak on behalf of all black people. I'm saying that I speak on behalf of the cool table. You see what I'm saying? And I have this power invested in me by the hip hop community. They say that I'm one of the niggas that can represent us. They agree with my narrative in regards to this shit. If you go read my comment, KRS-One is disrespected when people say Eminem is the greatest of all time. Chuck D is disrespected when they say Eminem is the greatest of all time. Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Black Thought. It's just so many. It's so many that fam. They got song. He disrespected Will Smith. Will Smith has a song called "Summertime" that's gonna get played in the hood, in the black community, at the cool table, barbecue, every summer until we die. Yeah, you think what I'm saying? And after we gone, they gonna continue to play that shit. You know why? Because it's cool in a motherfucker. And Eminem don't make that type of music. I feel what you're saying. He never has. And Will Smith is somebody that he made jokes about Will Smith, and Will Smith got music that's more palatable to the listening ear of hip hop than you. So I wanted people to the footage of Benzino addressing Eminem and his racist hour tapes from back in the day resurfaced online. So I wanted to give a narrative to the people that follow Gully TV on what happened. This is a long time ago. People that's watching Gully TV today, they probably wasn't in tune with what was going on in hip hop during the Source magazine era. I remember that. You feel me? So because this is the digital era. This is the internet era. You have to be of a certain age to be aware of that. So what I did was I took an issue and a topic that was from the magazine era, and I brought it back to online, and I basically took a survey during my chat, and I asked people, what is Eminem's cool songs? Because there's a verse that they have the verses and shit going on now. And I listened to what people said, and they was naming songs. They was naming more songs than I thought that I said to myself, I only like 1 or 2 songs that he had.
Right.
When people started to name his songs, I ended up being that I liked it about 6 of them.
Right.
Instead of, you know what I'm saying? So I'm keeping it real. This is no diss to him. You know what I'm saying? It's just that there was an agenda, energy was pushed in magazines and in society is when he was the greatest of all time. How?
But I believe this generation does that with Drake, though.
Drake is nice.
Right. No, I feel what you're saying.
I get what you're saying. But they don't just do it for Drake. They do it for Kanye. Like they do it for other people. You know what I'm saying? Mainly those 2 guys today.
Drake
but it could be Drake, Kanye, and Yeezy. They try to
but I feel like
the title by himself.
I feel like, no, I understand what you're saying. I feel like this generation, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas is Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. Like those 3.
We got to put this to rest too. Kendrick hasn't passed the bar yet. He hasn't. He got a couple of joints.
I agree with you.
They try to do
but Gully, let me tell you this real quick.
Similar. Ironically, Kendrick Lamar is aligned with Dr. Dre, just like Eminem. They try to force this energy, this narrative that this is one of the greats. You don't even got enough music. My nigga, you don't even got enough music out.
No, I agree. Gully, I didn't realize how bad it was until I got to Clubhouse. That's where my biggest platform is, on Clubhouse. And I got in rooms with large quantities of the younger generation that literally told me that Nas is whack and believed in their soul that J. Cole is better than Nas. And the way that these kids go so hard for Kendrick and J. Cole and who's the third one? Drake. Yeah. You would think they were talking about Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas.
You know
I had to leave the room.
You know why? Because those guys that you named, those guys got work out. You know what I'm saying? They got content. They got music out in the streets. They got dope shit in the streets. They not doing like Nas coming out every few years.
The kids don't remember. They don't know. They don't know.
The way that music works now, and the way it worked in Nas's generation, where you came out with an album every 2-3 years, or people be coming out with 5 albums in a year now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a totally different thing now. So what end up happens, West Side Gun, Griselda, them, they might put out 25 albums in a year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
music is what
happens is people got all of this music to choose from, all of this good music, and they get to say, man, fuck Nas. What the fuck is Nas? Like, he only come out every blue moon, and when he come out, he just he just came out on Christmas.
I like that album.
I like it, but I'm just saying, he's not gonna win this generation over with his
conscious rap.
He can shelf that, period. You know what I'm saying? Like
they need the
I understand that he might be trying to deliver a message, or I don't know, but nigga, you got to be Esco sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta put that QB chain on, that medallion. Go back to the Uchi Wally days. Go back to
you got to give us that. You got to give us that. Like we get you got the little dread twisties, and we get that, fam. We get that, but you need to give us that shit. You know, he got a song called "The Truth" on his new album. He got a song called "The Truth" on the Magic album, and it's that shit.
Yes,
but we want albums from guys like him,
right?
Where it's 7-8 jams,
right?
Like we want that, like. Yeah. And sometimes that might be the reason why they not really making no impact and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, these kids, they're not relating so much to, and I didn't realize that until I got on Clubhouse. Let me ask you a question. Are you tapped into what's going on with Clubhouse and WAC and all that stuff? Tell me what your feelings is about Clubhouse.
The only knowledge I have of Clubhouse is every time log into YouTube, I see a video uploaded saying that Whack 100 did something. Like, is that what goes on? He get on there and argue with people every day?
He's pretty much controls the narrative on Clubhouse with a lot of the big rooms and different things of that nature.
So Clubhouse is an open chat with a bunch of people, and they're called rooms.
Yeah, and then
a room is based on what, a topic?
Right. So you know how YouTube, like you can clickbait a topic on YouTube and then you get all these views.
Okay.
Well, people will talk about a hot topic or clickbait a topic in a room, and then you have people rush in a room. And so you have moderators on the stage that's bringing people up to the stage, and then you converse and you have a conversation in regards to that. And people go through their back and forth.
And whack the nigga over there on Clubhouse.
He be at the center of a lot of topics and different things.
I can't knock the hustle, man. That popularity, that type of popularity is worth money. I just can't stand in that madness. You know what I mean? Obviously,
we're gonna talk off air about Clubhouse.
He know what he's doing. He's not a rapper. He's not an actor. That's where he puts on his performances and keeps his brand going. And what he got going on.
Stay tuned, y'all. I might get Gully TV on Clubhouse, but
not a chance.
Behind the scenes. Listen, I'm gonna be doing some rooms on Clubhouse. I ain't even going front. One of my rooms kind of went viral.
I don't mingle with my fans like that, man. I have my own live stream where they can come in the chat, and we not gonna get on the same platform and talk. And there's a place for the fans. The fans' places in the audience. You know,
I'm dead. I'm
behind the camera. I'm behind the camera, and sometimes I'm in situations where I'm in front of the camera, but primarily I'm behind the camera filming, doing it.
You're too busy for Clubhouse, basically.
We just gotta lead this to the professionals, man. Clubhouse just came along and it's just perverted everything and just made everything bad.
I'm dead.
So you know what I said though? Like I said, I'm behind the camera. I'm filming, doing the interviewing these entertainers and these athletes, letting them tell their stories. People need to let them be the entertainment. Like, everybody wants to be an entertainer. Like, I only get in front of the camera when I have to. I don't like doing lives. I don't like going on live and shit like that.
You could be the only one on your stage.
Huh?
You could be the only one on your Clubhouse stage and leave everybody in the goo and just listen to you. And you link your YouTube on the top of the thing and talk about whatever you want to talk. And I guarantee you.
So can they get super chats in Clubhouse?
Well, yeah, there's a give money feature. I'll talk to you about that off air, but you can definitely get. Yeah.
Why you want to talk to me off air?
We'll talk about that behind the scenes. People don't want to hear about all that, but definitely you can save your replays of your rooms as well. Okay. Rip the audio, so you can probably do like a room, let's say 1 or 2 times a week. You could collaborate with other people to do rooms, have certain topics, link your YouTube page right at the top of your room so people could directly click in there. Increase your popularity on Clubhouse. That's just another platform, but I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
All right, before we get into the game, I got just real quick, I want to ask you, this is a little gossipy, but hey, the ladies might want to know what's your opinion. Tristan Thompson is the father. What do you think about every trimester Tristan over here?
He tried to pay her off, didn't he?
Well, he had denied he even knew the girl when she first came out. He lied. He said, right. I don't know her. It wasn't me.
Right.
And then, then now she had the paternity test. Now it's his. So now he has to come out publicly and apologize to Khloe Kardashian. And
right.
I don't know if he tried to pay this new girl off, but it's really a mess.
Bottom line is, I don't know if he got, real feelings invested in the Kardashian chick. He's gotta have his chips up, man. He's an NBA player, man. As long as he, stays good looking, stays athletic looking, and keep money in the bank, he'll be all right. He'll get a girl and shit like that.
You can't be roaring everything though and having babies with everybody. He gotta calm down. What is that? What dogs get neutered? Maybe he should try that. I'm just playing. That was a dig a little bit, but whatever. Okay, last hot topic before we go into this game. Mad Skills / Uncle Murder, the wrap up. What do you think? Thoughts?
I liked it. This year I liked the skills joint. Skills joint. It was only I think 6 minutes. Uncle Murder's joint was 13 minutes, I believe. They both dope, but I just thought Skills joint was a little bit more sentimental. He's done. This has been his 20-year. The final run, actually, the final wrap up. This year was the final wrap up. It's been 20 years. And he told his story. Like, he the one that started that shit. He gave a grand contribution to hip hop, and some of us grew up with that shit. Like 20 years. Just think about that shit. Every year for 20 years, he was gonna come out with a dope rap that you could laugh and recite and just talk about it. Their conversation pieces. He was the first one to do it. And he gave the history on it. He said it started out, I think he said, as a mixtape song or something like that. And I think his manager told him, man, you should, do this on a certain beat, and the rest is history. But you got to just remember that it was one person brought that dope contribution to hip hop and shared it with us for 20 years. He sat down for 20 years and wrote a rap for all of us.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's crazy.
They were talking about that on Clubhouse, and they were saying that, the consensus that I was getting was that, Mad Skills started it and he's the GOAT, but, Uncle Murder did it better, and now he got the ball.
They were saying that a lot of people said that Uncle Murder did it better because in recent years, Uncle Murder joints was better. And what I mean by that was Uncle Murder is going to say that the X-rated shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Skills shit might always be PG.
Right.
Compared to Uncle Murder and shit. You know what I mean? Uncle Murder is going to really go there and just make you say, wow. You know what I mean? So it's just a difference of, rated R and PG basically and shit.
Absolutely. And what artists are you listening to now that you feel like you're tapped into?
I've been listening to Rock Marciano recently, Richard Gere, shit like that. It's old shit. I listen to a lot of R&B and shit like that, and jazz, and just shit you wouldn't think I listen to, mainly because it's I won't say relaxing. Yeah, make relaxing. Yeah, that's what it is and shit.
I'm on that type, the meditation music. I'll be on a whole different wave. I mean, I love my I love my bounce. I love my hip hop. That's my first love. Yeah. I love my R&B. And I like some of the stuff from now, like Fabio Foreign and a couple other artists. He really impressed me with that verse on Kanye's album. And I keep talking about that, but I literally just ripped that verse off the song and just listened to that.
It's a kid named Ruger. It's a kid named Ruger from Chicago. Ruger, Rooga. He one of them drill rappers to be in the gang shit. All the killing and shit like that. But he rap his ass off and shit. Like, I find myself listening to some of the songs that he got. Rock Marcy though, as of late. Benny the Butcher got one of the hottest songs of 2021. I still listen to. It's called the Pyrex Man. I flavorful shit, man. I be creating, and I turn on Biz Markie and shit, man. I just listen to dope hip hop.
Me too. I got all my stuff in my Spotify ready. All right, Gully, I'm not gonna keep you here all night. So let me get into this game real quick. This is called Red Flag or Deal Breaker. So I'm gonna give you a scenario, right? You hear the scenario, you tell me if it's a red flag, a deal breaker, or you love it. All right. So you meet a chick. She's beautiful. You're digging her. The vibes is there. You take her out to a nice restaurant. Y'all order your food. And now she makes a lot of noise while she's eating. Is that a red flag, a deal breaker, or do you love it?
That's a red flag. It's a red flag.
Okay. So it's not a deal breaker. It's a red flag. It's something that you could probably work with.
I mean, she ain't gonna be eating all night. Well, she
I'm dead. Okay, let's move on.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So you meet this girl and you dig at her. You guys text a lot. You haven't really been on the phone with her, or you never really like face to face had a conversation.
Right.
So you meet her, right? And you get into a conversation with her and you realize that she overuses a phrase or a word every time you say something. So let's say, for instance, you're talking to her and she says, "That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting." She's constantly overusing a phrase and a word every time you say something.
I was in a situation like that with a Puerto Rican chick. She, after everything she said, she would say, "You know what I mean? You know what I mean?" It was funny as hell. I told her, I would say it with her sometimes and shit, and we would laugh about it and shit.
So is that a red flag, a deal breaker, or you love it?
Nah, it wasn't. It was cute, I guess. I mean, she's Puerto Rican. She's speaking all fast. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
okay, bet. So ladies, if you meet Gully and you have a word or a phrase that you overuse, he's not going to clip you. It's it could be a go for you. All right. She has more than 3 public figure exes. A red flag, deal breaker, or love it?
She got more than 3
public figure exes.
Oh, love it.
He said, "Okay, I'll be the 4th. Let's go."
Love it. Just got to get in the mix, man. There's no reason not to get in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Deal breaker. I mean, if she's been involved with 3 public figures, this bitch bad. She got to be bad. First off, she got to be attractive. She had 3 public. She got to be attractive. You know what I'm saying? So it
that's
can't
a win
be
for you.
Deal breaker. The red flag, she could be crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that bitch bad.
So Gully said he love it. Okay, so they still kiss their parents, or they kiss their parents on the mouth. Is that a red flag, a deal breaker, or you love it? She's 30. She kisses her parents on the mouth.
What, her mom and dad?
Yeah, she kisses her parents on the mouth.
I don't think that. I don't think that. I don't see nothing wrong with that for real.
Okay, so you love it?
I mean, yeah. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Mom and dad kissing their daughter on the lips. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Son? Well, I can't say son because you date girls. Yeah, so it's a girl.
Yeah. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
All right, so you meet her and you find out she's into polyamory. She's into the polyamorous lifestyle. Is that a red flag, a deal breaker, or you love it?
What is? I don't even know what that is. What is poly?
She's poly. She wants a girlfriend and a boyfriend. She wants to be in a relationship with you and somebody else.
So she want a girlfriend too.
She could want a girlfriend. Let's say she wants a girlfriend and you, and the 3 of y'all to be in a polyamorous relationship.
Oh, I ain't got no problem with that.
So that's a love it.
I ain't got no problem with that. As long as she ain't crazy or nothing like that.
Okay. So he said he's with it. All right. So she texts. Actually, this is funny. Let me see. Okay. Instead of texting, they call all the time. Is that a red flag, a deal breaker, or love it? Like, never texts, calls all the time.
I ain't got no problem with that. I don't have no problem with forms of affection, because she could be calling somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'd rather be the one that she calling all the time. I mean, you got ways of regulating that, like, why don't you could tell her to text you, you know what I'm saying? But if somebody's showing you affection or interest in you, it can't be a deal breaker or anything like that. Nah.
So he loves that too. Okay, Gully.
Yeah, I love it. I love attention and shit. I got ways of regulating and shit. You know what I mean? I just want to answer if I'm bothered by it.
Got you. Okay, the person you're dating texts all the time in the movie theater. Pre-pandemic, y'all are at the movies and they're constantly texting in the movie theater. That would, I'm not gonna lie, that would annoy the shit out of me. Excuse my language.
Oh, that's inappropriate because y'all having an intimate moment. You like y'all alone at a movie theater and shit like that. That's just kind of like cut your phone off or put the phone away. You know what I mean?
And taking out your phone with that bright light in a dark movie theater is so annoying. I hate when people do that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay. Their parents still pay their rent. She's over 30. Her parents still pay her rent. Is that a red flag, deal breaker, or you love it?
Say it again. You said her parents still pay her rent.
Right. Is that a red flag, a deal breaker for you, or you love it?
It probably could be a red flag, but I have this. I believe in this. 30 years old.
30 plus.
Okay, you said 30 plus. Now you said 30 plus, but when it was just
right,
30, when it was just 30, that's someone who's just out of their 20s.
Right.
You feel me? And at that point, everybody might not be able to hold down a home,
right,
groceries, utilities, travel fees. You know what I'm saying? Even if they have a little job, like that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I think we should get away from the society that insists on people leaving the crib, leaving home. You know what I'm saying? I think we should get away from that. I think we should get away from that. I don't think the world was always like that. You know what I'm saying? I think, when a person is in shape, financially, or a person is ready to leave, then they should leave. There's no age limit or requirement with my children. You can stay with me when you grown and shit like that. You ain't even got to give me no money. You know what I mean? You could live, because wherever I'm gonna be at, I'm gonna be living it up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be straight. So if you want to be around that, that's cool with me, and you ain't got to pay nothing. You dig what I'm saying? But some people, that in society, some people, I won't just say just black people are the only ones that do it. They do this thing where they be charging their siblings or their relatives money to live under the same roof. Now, I understand, there might be bills that need to be, there's certain requirements from adults that have to be bills that have to be covered. But I'm just saying, I don't think people should get away from the fact that this is my family right here.
And things don't end when they're 18. People are so quick to be like, you're 18, push you out. I'm done.
I don't think that's a good idea. I'm against that.
I hear you. And then the last thing is, she cash apps you a request for less than $20. Is that a red flag, a deal breaker, or you love it?
You got some wild questions.
She sends you a cash app request for less than $20.
I'm not a $15 cash app. If somebody asked me for that, I mean, maybe she needed it. I mean, I ain't no petty.
Oh, shout out to Gully ladies. They'll send you 100.
Right. You should be alarmed.
They'll send you no less than $20.
You should be alarmed when them big motherfucking cash app requests. That's when those are the eye openers.
Right.
A $15 week, man, get that girl $15.
I'm dead. Okay, so this new girl that you're dating, last question for this game, and then I'm gonna do one more game with you. We out. All right. So you're dating a girl, right? But then you find out that a serial killer is her cousin. Is that a red flag, a deal breaker, or do you love it?
I ain't got no problem with it. That's her cousin.
It could be first cousin.
I'm pretty sure in my time, I didn't date it or had sex with a girl who got a killer for a cousin. I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure. Yeah. So
you're dating a chick and y'all talking, and she's like, "Oh, Ted Bundy is, my second cousin." There's a movie out on Ted Bundy, and I don't like to tell everybody, right. She trusts you and she confides in you, and she says, that's my mom's brother.
Right. I'm trying to get an interview.
He's my uncle or something.
I'm trying to get an interview.
Oh shit, I'm dead. I feel you.
Trying to get an interview. I'm trying to interview somebody in that family, yo. Tell me something about
Gully
Ted.
said we gonna make a documentary out this.
Man, I have my mic like, tell me about your Uncle Ted.
I'm turning on the tape recorder right now.
Right.
Oh shit, that's what's up, Gully. And I created this game specifically for you because I'm interested in knowing. It's called Versus, and I'm gonna give you two things, and you're gonna tell me which one.
Okay.
But you can't take a lot of time to think. You gotta just the first thing that comes to your mind. Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
Design clothing or play ball?
Play ball.
TV or write books?
Write a book.
Boobs or butt on a female?
Ass.
Long hair or short hair?
Don't matter.
Lambo or Ferrari?
Lambo.
Shoes or heels on a female? I'm sorry, sneakers or heels?
Sneakers, heels, it don't matter.
Gotta pick one.
Oh, okay. Sneakers.
Okay. Ralph McDaniels or Cool DJ Red Alert?
Ralph.
Funk Flex or DJ Clue?
Clue.
Uncle Murder or Mad Skills?
Murder.
Reading or writing?
Reading.
Players Club or Friday?
Oh my, Players Club.
Bronx Tale or Godfather?
Bronx Tale.
Paid in Full or New Jack City?
Paid in Full.
Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
LeBron.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
Guru or Black Thought?
Guru.
Against All Odds or Ready to Die?
Against All Odds.
Whack or Suge?
Suge.
Chicago Bulls or LA Lakers?
Lakers.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Aruba or Greece?
Aruba.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Paper books or audiobooks?
Paper.
All right.
No doubt.
Good job, Chuck.
No
Good
doubt.
job, Gully.
Yeah, I mostly enjoy reading a book manually. Page turners. Yeah, definitely.
I'm like that too. I don't know if you can see, I got my bookshelf here. I got more books in my living room. I donate a lot of books, but I find now with my lifestyle in 2022, I like Audible because the audiobooks, while I'm at my desk, I can listen to them. Or podcast audiobooks and stuff. But
Right.
I do miss just sitting down with a paperback book and actually reading.
Right.
But Gully, yo, this interview has been phenomenal. You've been such a good.
You lit. You're gonna get some views from this, especially you put the right title up. You straight. I'm telling you.
That's what's up. I thank you again for, coming and blessing my channel and being one of my first in the top 10 of guests, because I haven't even done 10 podcasts yet. So you're definitely in the top. So when I get to podcast 300, I'm gonna be like, yo, Gully was like the first. You know what I'm saying?
About to be your biggest joint for some time now. I don't know what guests you got gonna come after me. Good luck to you. I hope you get somebody big, but I'm just telling you, this about to be the most viewed. The same hour, same day you post this shit.
I appreciate you, Gully. And you know what? Honestly, I definitely have people on this podcast that I connect with, that I'm interested in, and actual genuine relationships that I have. It's definitely, you did this off the strength, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Anything you need, you could ask me for, and I got you and stuff like that. But I like the freedom that I have now, where I could take people that I'm genuinely interested in, and this is not no sponsored thing, or no, I gotta interview this person. And I have that freedom now that I'm building, and I get to talk to people that I want to talk to, and people and kind of put it out there and just like love what I do because I love to talk to people and I just love people. So you're definitely somebody that, you know what I'm saying, I look at as an inspiration, and I appreciate you coming to my channel. And you didn't have to do this because at the end of the day, like you said, you know, it helps me more than it would help you. But
Oh no, in regards to that, I have to continue to show this type of energy and share the ball, because people in bigger situations, larger situations than me,
I
have given
appreciate
me
that.
opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Have given me the hand up. So yeah,
Exactly. I
I'm doing
appreciate
what I'm
that.
supposed to be doing. You make sure when your time comes, you help somebody else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And
So
I said to you in the beginning before we came on air, I was like, you know, could we talk about this or could we talk about that? Do you want me to say this or that? And you said, I trust you. I trust your professionalism. And I thank you for, you know, trusting me and believing in me enough to know that, you know what I'm saying, that this interview would go well.
I've been Instagram friends with you for a minute, I believe. I We text, talk, and you know we got to know each other and shit. You know, prior to this, so I don't think I didn't. You don't strike me as, you know, no type of creep or anything like that. We didn't have debates about hip hop and shit like that before, so
Yeah.
um, it wasn't no. I didn't think you would come here with no loaded questions or anything like that.
That's what's up. I enjoyed this so much. And you know, check out Gully, you know, like I said, everybody, ladies, gentlemen, anybody that taps in with me, check out the real Gully TV. Check out Gully TV Sports. Check out the Dribble podcast. He got the documentary with Shaheem coming through. He got his website, his podcast. Tap into all things Gully TV. Hey, you never know, in the future it might be an Angie's World, Gully TV World, some type of collab. You never know.
We talked about that before. You could tell them. Go ahead. You could tell them we was, you know, trying to cook something up before. You know what
We
I
are gonna cut it. It ain't no trying. We are. I didn't
mean?
want to let the cat
Keep
out of
up
the
the good
bag,
work.
but
Keep up the good work. I
thank
appreciate
you.
you having me.
And I appreciate you coming through. Check for 2022. There might be a little Angie's World Gully TV World collab coming. You never know. Um, like I always say, you could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be in Angie's World. And for that, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see y'all soon. Gully, don't go nowhere. I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. I love y'all. We out of here. Peace.